Today I'm talking about the new movie I Saw the TV Glow. And the basic premise is, it's the 90s and these two lonely teenagers find each other and bond over this silly TV show that's essentially like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Are You Afraid of the Dark? And through that, they feel a connection. This is a very slow, quiet film that's existentially sad and depressing, but just like so masterfully done. I loved it immensely. Like there's so much about it that's just fantastic. First off, the soundtrack. The soundtrack's great. Normally those don't jump out at me, but this one, listening to it on repeat and I've just been vibing. The performances are incredible. Both the leads give such great nuanced performances. I especially loved how they spoke. Firstly, just with like the way they controlled their voices, because it felt kind of like mumblecore-esque, but also sort of whispering, but in a way that felt very realistic and natural. But then even the dialogue was so natural in such a way that it blew my mind. And I'm just like, how did you capture this dialogue? There were times where like they were trying to explain something and they explained it really shittily, but in a way that made sense. Their brain couldn't fully form all the ideas, but they still came up with the answer there. And so it was incredibly well written. The ideas presented in this film are just so good, such great ideas. Because it's maybe a little bit sci-fi-esque, or maybe it's not, and that's sort of the crux of it. And I don't think they give a definitive answer on that, which kind of makes it more depressing, because like the end, oh my god. Like the last, I'm not gonna say what happened, but like the last 15 minutes, I'm just like, why am I just so incredibly sad right now? They brought up like these such existential ideas, and it's in a sense, witnessing the consequences of those existential ideas is very deeply sad. It's about how time speeds up as you get older. It's about crippling fear, keeping you in the same place in life. It's about loneliness. It's about trying to move on. There's so much nostalgia too, but in a very naturalistic way. There's a ton to this movie, and a ton that really truly struck a chord with me. Like, I'm very surprised with how deeply this movie affected me. It was to the point of, legitimately after the movie, I left the theater and then just sat in my car and cried for about 15 minutes. And then like I had to take the hour drive home and I was just kind of barely holding on. It really just emotionally wrecked me for the entire rest of the day. And it still lingers in my mind, just in the back of my mind, this kind of, in a sense, dread, but in a not bad way. That like, yeah, dread is bad, but like, it's fascinating to me how much I'm still carrying this movie with me days later. It just goes to show the power of this movie. I don't think that'll be the experience for everyone. I think it just particularly struck a chord with me, but I do still recommend it, though I don't think it's a movie for everyone, because it is a slow, quiet film, and those you gotta be in the right headspace for. I do think it's more targeted at millennials in particular, though I do think if you're outside that age range, you can still enjoy it. It's a very specific kind of movie that's not a movie for everyone, so I definitely recommend it, but more cautiously. You just kind of have to suss out your own emotions of, do you think you can handle this slow, quiet film? So yeah, it is great and totally worth a watch, but set yourself up for success with this movie. And now for my ranking, I put this at number 3 in the really like section. This is at a total of 32 new movies so far this year.